We're in Chapter 11. Now, one of the things we do in Chapter 11 is to avoid problems that we may run into that we discussed in Chapter 10. Now, in Chapter 11, not only have we created our restore points. Our restore points are what the system looked at that point in time. Now, that's the system has started working badly, if you will. Now, what if it's just our data? Our data itself, we want to back up our system over time, back up the data, so that should something happen, we can, in many cases, go buy a new system, connect that data to the new system, and we are up and running. Or use the backup to create a clone, if you will, of our original system. Now, some of the things that we would do beyond that to optimize how our system works. Now, I like to compare our hard drives, or what we're storing on our hard drives, to, say, a storage locker or even your garage at your home. In a garage in your home, we could just throw everything in there and have no rhyme or reason where anything was placed. Now, all too often, that's what our system does. It doesn't have any organization in how it goes about putting things away in a hard drive. So we need to have things sorted out into logical groupings, and we do that with our file folders. But we also like to use the ability to optimize and defragment a hard drive. So instead of wading through all these little pathways to find things on the drive, if you will, we'll sort things out or group them over into areas and free up more free space, if you will. We can set this up to be done on a regular basis, or we can do this manually. We can schedule the optimization. We go through the control panel. Then it depends on the different features of the OS on what we can and can't do when it comes to optimizing our systems. Now, one of the things we need to make sure of, I like to compare a system to like an office with a desk. I'm the processor sitting at the desk. In the corner of my office, I have long-term storage, which is a file cabinet. And on my desk, I have a tray which has short-term volatile paperwork that, for whatever reason, my boss says, if you're not there, I'm throwing it away. It's going to get emptied out. So if that's the case, things I need short-term, I just want to reach over across my desk and access them. I can also have what we call a paging file in my hard drive. And that paging file allows me to avoid having to search through my entire hard drive to find some resource or some data. I can store it in a single file, the equivalent of top drawer front of a file cabinet. And the size of that paging file can relieve some of the burden that we put upon our RAM and make our system work more efficiently. We want to optimize this and make sure that it works as best it can, making sure our device drivers are up to date and they are the best driver for our application or our specific configuration. We need to make sure that on a regular basis because things change. Manufacturers can come up with new drivers that work better than the previous versions. So we're always checking to see what's going on. Okay. So we've got a number of different things that we could do. We could back up. We can make sure that our drives are defragged and error checked. Everything works the way that it's supposed to be working. We've got the latest and greatest drivers, patches, application updates, any updates that may be available. Now, updates are not always the best thing to do to be, as I should say, the first one doing them. Sometimes you may want to have somebody else make sure that they do work because updates aren't always as functional as they think they are. So if it's coming from a manufacturer like, say, Microsoft or Mac, yes, we want to have updates and we should trust what they're giving us. Trust but verify. So we'll see you in the next chapter, Chapter 12.